Episode 1 of Lanterns starts back in 1996. A Green Lantern landed on Earth in 1986 and has been protecting the Earth for a solid decade or so now. He dramatically stopped a meteor from destroying Victoria Falls, and now, live on TV, Hal Jordan gives a candid interview about his background. He's an Air Force veteran and a former test pilot, along with being the first entrusted Green Lantern, of course. Our two kids watch his interview on TV, one of them being John Stewart. When his father returns home, he asks John whether he's afraid as he sets him up against a wall with an apple on his head. John doesn't even flinch as his father shoots the apple. Now fast forward to 2016 and John Stewart is operating as Hal Jordan's student. Basically, he's a Lantern in training. It seems like they've been doing this for about 2 months or so, and the Guardians have chosen John for some reason, but Hal is quick to remind him he's still a rookie. To prove himself, Hal drops off his ring on the dashboard and jumps out the car, letting John crash off the edge of a cliff, but also use his skills to conjure bubble wrap, his words not mine, to protect himself. John is hot under the collar after this stunt though. He rings his dad and vents to him about Hal's test, but he tells John to stay the course and he'll become the Green Lantern. Now when John touches the ring, Hal suddenly materialises next to him and apologises. He's confused over exactly who he is and is shocked to learn it's 2016. This, as we soon come to learn, is a backup of Hal's consciousness, and he has a message. Apparently there's hail in Nebraska. When it disappears, John finally catches up to Hal Jordan, who's making the most of his fame at the taco stand. When he receives Hal's message, he jets off, flying over to Nebraska, leaving John to go the long way at the airport. John eventually does catch up, where Hal claims this is all part of his training. Now, the crime scene itself is a point of contention. At a football field, emergency services from 2 different counties are on scene and have been here for 6 hours now. John is convinced that the victims are extraterrestrial, meaning it'll fall under his jurisdiction, but the sheriff on duty, Kerry, isn't so sure. Now Hal tests John's investigative skills, and it definitely seems like there's an alien in their midst. John messes up though and gets too close to a guy in a short sleeve shirt acting suspiciously, and a chase inevitably ensues. John eventually does knock the guy out, and the man is arrested on suspicion of being involved before the pair head to the local bar. Whilst there, John grills into Hal Jordan, questioning his credentials as a Lantern. He also pushes him for info regarding the ring and believes this is why they're in Nebraska. Well, Hal had a run-in with something weird where a giant green bubble encased him. A voice asked if he was afraid before whisking him across to Nebraska, not far from where they are now. This, as we soon come to learn, was Hal's predecessor Abin Sur, whom Hal calls Pinko. He handed over his ring and allowed him to take over protecting the Earth. He's now convinced that this crash is no accident and something is coming. For now, Hal Jordan gets himself arrested so he can talk to the alien Kerry captured. At the Sheridan County Sheriff's Department though, Hal is not happy. Kerry intentionally separates him away from this captured alien, and he's even brought before court too, where he could be arrested. There's a $200,000 bail, which Hal is shocked by, but lawyer Billy Macon shows up and takes advantage of the situation. After agreeing to pay the fees, the Lanterns show up at the Macon ranch. There are a ton of militia guys training here, and Hal meets with Will, the patriarch. Now Will is training his guys because he believes a war is coming, and the man, see alien, inside the jail is part of an advanced team. Now Will agrees to get Hal an audience with this guy, but his price for doing so is unknown right now. However, there's a slight wrinkle. At the bar earlier in the episode, John Stewart wound up sleeping with a woman who was flirting with him. Now it turns out that very woman is actually Will's wife, Zoe. Will is seemingly aware of this and seems to be cool with it, but it's a little too early to tell if he actually is or not. In the morning, Kerry brings the pair in to see this alien, a man by the name of Waylon Sanders. He's actually a licensed truck driver and has worked under the radar for nearly 5 years. Hal eventually speaks to Waylon and catches him out, with a little bit of trivia regarding Harry Potter. It seems like there's a war coming, and Waylon eventually explodes. Hal Jordan manages to protect the precinct, setting up a green bubble around Waylon as he explodes. Apart from a big hole in the side of the building, nobody is hurt. Fast forward to 2026 and this is a very different Nebraska. John shows up and is reunited with Kerry, and Hal Jordan is sitting in the stands, dead and with dried blood staining his forehead. His ring is also missing too. Now, James Gunn's DC universe has been all over the place, and after the disastrous Supergirl and Peacemaker Season 2, we're now back with another major hero in Green Lantern. Lanterns essentially combines Damon Lindelof's usual mystery box shenanigans with a slower crime drama feel of something akin to True Detective, while also simultaneously attempting to deconstruct Hal Jordan as a character. A lot of this first episode seems unsure how it wants us to actually view Hal. Kerry belittles him late on, claiming he doesn't care about anyone. John questions whether he's even been mentored properly, while the digital version of Hal essentially questions the man he's become. The overwhelming impression here is that Hal is an arrogant, bumbling idiot who probably shouldn't have the ring in the first place. Yet the irony is, Hal Jordan is easily the best thing about this show. His charisma, history and mentoring relationship with John give the episode its most interesting dynamic, and then they kill him off. This leaves us with Aaron Pierre's John Stewart, who currently has about as much charisma as a plank of wood. There's very little to rally behind beyond fragments of backstory we're barely explored so far. If he's supposed to carry the Green Lantern mantle between Kyle Chandler's Hal Jordan and Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner, well, he's going to need to step up considerably to prevent this becoming a very boring slog. Then there are the implications of the ring itself. Now, I'm not a huge Green Lantern fan. I didn't really read many of the comics. Spider-Man and X-Men were more my jam, but some of the internal world building here is a little disjointed, to say the least. Now, it's difficult to know whether John is joking when he claims he conjured bubble wrap to protect himself from the car falling off the cliff, because conveniently we don't actually see it happening. We just get an aerial shot of the car smashing into bits on the ground. Then we see John just walking down the street like normal. We also don't see Hal's origin with Ab insert either, which kind of feels like a bit of a missed opportunity given how important that relationship is to his story. More questionable though is how the ring's constructs actually work. Now, this may be nitpicking, and I'm sure some people will let me know about that in the comments, but within the show's own logic, Cal can conjure a fake dollar bill that's physically convincing enough to enter a jukebox, register as genuine money and cue multiple songs. The music even continues after Hal removes the ring. So could he not have just conjured his $200,000 bail himself? I mean, 10 minutes earlier you basically demonstrated your infinite money cheat code, so why aren't we using it now? I mean, as far as pilots go, Lanterns is fine. There's enough mystery to keep things moving, I guess, but killing off the most interesting character in episode 1 is a huge gamble. Honestly, John Stewart is going to have to really knock it out the park for the rest of the season to make him more of a compelling protagonist. And that is really the real test with this one, whether John Stewart can carry the weight Hal leaves behind, and so far, this one's sitting on some pretty shaky foundations.
Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.